Hi guys, this is Rachel Kirkland here, the Modern Shaman. Thanks for joining me for another YouTube question and answer video of the week. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share, hit that bell that gives you notifications of when I have new videos up and arising, and send in your own question to my website, which is just themodernshaman.net, if you'd like me to answer your own personal question. There's also lots of events, any sort of traveling and touring that I'm doing on there. If you'd like to schedule a personal session, that's always available on there for healing or psychic advice and counsel, as well as any sort of classes if you're interested in those. I have a new round coming up, so check it out on the website at themodernshaman.net. All right, so here's the question for the week. I'm going to read it and dive in. She says, Rachel, and speaking of classes, sorry, she took a class. Anyways, I was reading who this came from. And I always leave it anonymous, so I won't give away your name. Ooh, I just saw an orb. Okay, but anyways, back to the question at hand. Sorry, I got off topic there. It says, Rachel, have you ever met someone and felt that their energy was scrambled, for lack of a better word? I can't figure out if they are hiding something or maybe they haven't spent many lives on this planet. I know this sounds crazy, but that's actually how I'm reading them, as scrambled. Any help would be appreciated. Okay. Yeah, it's funny because she has taken the classes. I feel like this is like, she took level 1, I believe, of my psychic development class. This is perfect for a sense of moving forward and diving a little deeper into your energetic readings, or how you are differentiating the subtleties within the energetic field of someone, because there are so many subtleties, and this is what you're doing. I don't feel like your reading is inaccurate at all, and we can talk about that. I can go through kind of the 3 different types of energy manifestations that you described, because the more and more that you are paying attention to people's energy and the way that you're receiving their energy. I mean, I do this for a living all the time, so I'm around it a lot and have just done it a lot, enough to get to a point to where I've noticed kind of, I guess, markers or across the board subtleties that seem similar, and notice those similarities. But if you're not doing that as often, you may not know kind of if what you're getting is normal or totally off the wall. And what you're describing to me is just a finer, more subtler interpretation of someone's energetic field. I feel like it's very accurate. And you're trying to find words that describe something that is a non-verbal interaction. So this is what we run into in the spiritual world, right? We have these non-physical experiences, and then we work around and we try and find languaging to kind of wrap around them. So, and this is so much of what I do, even as a psychic or as a shaman, trying to explain in sessions. This is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm seeing, feeling, hearing. And from the non-physical realm, so much of the practice is just learning how to translate that and using a language that they will understand and receive and be open to. So I feel like you're right on in the way that you are interpreting that energy. So let's go into the 3, you described 3 different subtleties, so we'll just talk about those for the length of this video. But there are many different manipulations, forms, movements, expressions of energy. I mean, it's infinite, the way that energy can be expressed. But I'll talk about these 3 and kind of give a little bit more light, or shine a little bit more light on how you may be perceiving or receiving someone else's energy. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, scrambled. When you say that and initiate that word, it triggers in me, or it kind of brings up within me the many clients or people that I have interacted with that have a sense of distortion or interference in their energetic field. Okay, now this distortion or interference can come from a lot of different reasons or causes to create that energy. But essentially, the way it shows up, scrambled is a good word. To me, I may language it a little bit more like distortion or interference. It reminds me of back in the day, I'm probably going to age myself here, but back in the day when you would be turning an actual TV, right, for the channels, and, you know, before cable or anything, you turn and there would be a channel that wasn't receiving any frequency, right? Didn't have a dial or a satellite. There was no frequency being transmitted with that channel. And so it would just look like visual noise, and it would sound like auditory noise, like shh. And we would see the pixelated black, white, and gray kind of shades. A lot of times, this is what this scrambled energy, when someone comes to me as a client or is reaching out and they have this in their field, this is what it looks like and translates to me. And it's noisy. Sometimes I will literally hear it like that, like a frequency shh. Sometimes I will see it, like it will almost look like, or a diffused lighting, as if a light box has been put on their aura and everything feels very diffused, spread out, or like there's more air and space between every particle in their energetic field. It's literally diffused and spread out and chaotic in ways. Now, oftentimes, just because I've had so many sessions with clients, I'll say, if I see that in their field, I know enough to ask, are you on any sort of pharmaceutical drugs or any sort of drugs? Oftentimes I see it created and manifest that way when they're on, I would say, drugs that shift your chemical makeup, but do not shift your energy, okay? So there's this weird distortion or noise that happens. So it shifts what you are manifesting in the 3D. For instance, depression medication, anxiety medication, sometimes sleep aids or sleep medication, different medications like this. They'll shift your chemical brain makeup. So they shift the chemicals within the brain. So you're manifesting in the human form a sense of ease, a sense of relaxation, a sense of coherence, all of this. But energetically, you may be experiencing depression, you may be experiencing anxiety, stress, trauma, and so the energy is still present in this chaotic anxiety. And then there is a mask of the human part of the chemical that comes in and creates a sense of interference. So their energy feels scrambled, or there's a diffuse or distortion to it there. And just because I've been around clients enough and dealt with and seeing this and realizing this is very common when we are on medications to try and essentially band-aid the energy that was arising in the first place, to tell you there's some sort of issue that needs to be worked through. There's something that's causing the depression, that's saying emotionally you need to work through this issue, you need to face and process through and move through this energy. And then it gets stuffed, you band-aid over it energetically, but the energy is still present. So it creates a sort of noise in their energetic field. That's one that I commonly see in clients, and it's super common, okay, super common. A lot of people are not even aware of it, because in the 3D chemical realm of the human form of their body, not their energy form, not their light body, their human body, they're just going about their day. They have energy, they have the ability to kind of keep going, keep moving, but on the energetic light body level, and if you're tuning into their energy and paying attention to it and very sensitive, there is a distortion that's not in alignment. It's not true. It's not sincere. It doesn't hit. It's distorted, okay? And those things that came up in the first place that created the anxiety, the depression, are emotional issues that are still present in their energetic form. They're still present in their aura. They're still present. They haven't processed through that energy. They haven't transmuted it. So you're picking up on both of those subtleties at the same time, which creates a sense of noise or distortion in their energetic field. Okay, the next thing you talked about, that second one, is you said, I can't figure out if they're hiding something. So this lying energy is what is also very common. And this subtlety in the energetic field almost feels like a mismatch, like two puzzle pieces that they mismatch. So when I have a client or I'm reading someone that has this energy, there is a strange feedback. Sometimes it sounds like feedback. Because I hear in auditory a lot of times I can hear the distortion in their energy. Again, this is just me translating it. You may receive it differently and express it and language it differently. It doesn't matter how we language it. I'm just trying to give a little bit more wording to what you're experiencing. Again, to just bring a little bit more literal human light on something you're experiencing energetically. So, it feels like the internal and the external are not matched. And so there's a strange sense of either feedback or like there's an energy coming outward from the heart of truth, and the expression of it is somehow off kilter, and there's a sense of mismatch. So they don't harmonize, right? So there's not harmony in what they're saying and what they're really believing, or what they're really feeling, what they're really thinking. And it literally creates a disharmony with the energy. So if you're picking up on the subtleties of their energy, my empaths, my clairsentients, all of those that are using your psychic senses to pick up on what they're expressing, there's an unease in their energetic field when you're around people like this. And again, I'm not judging, I'm just trying to express it. It's super common. We all go through times when our energy is mismatched, all right? This is also common if you are on any sort of drugs to put you in a chemical place that is expressing one sense of capability, but you are not energetically aligned with it. You're still insecure, you're still self-doubting, and yet you maybe take a lot of ADD medicine produces this, or you take some sort of medicine. Even alcohol can create this, where it gives you a sense of false confidence. It essentially asserts a false chemical component that's creating that in your energetic field. So you're moving through that in your human form. Your body's like, I'm fine, I've got this, I'm doing it. But your energy is still producing that sense of insecurity or vulnerability or whatever that hasn't been processed. And so there's a mismatch. And even when these people are in a space, or I shouldn't say these people, could be me, okay? I'm not excluding myself here. We've all been in these places energetically. This is what the human experience is about in terms of learning and growing and evolving as a soul. But essentially, you put something forward and the energy isn't quite aligned. It's not matched up with the truth of what you're saying. It's not in integrity with the full totality of your energy. And so people who are sensitive to energy, who are reading, will feel like there's untruth present. There's no foundation. It almost feels to me like everything's a little shaky, like you can't stand on it. It doesn't feel truthful. Even if it's something like, what do you want for dinner? And they say, I don't care. Or whatever. It doesn't really matter what they're saying. It's the energy that's present, that's been created, that feels like sometimes they don't know themselves enough to stand in it. So there's a mismatch. And that's an accurate reading of their energy, but you're just picking up on the subtlety of those distortions. All right, if that makes sense. And that's a very common one of someone hiding something. They sometimes don't even know that they're hiding it from themselves. But if you are very attuned to energy, you will feel it. You will read that in their auric field because it's present. Everything is there. Energy is energy. You know what I mean? You can't hide it. It doesn't lie. It just exudes. So even those chemicals exude a sense of false security, false confidence. that hasn't actually been processed and translated into the soul level. And so there's still the insecurity, there's still the vulnerability, there's still the self-doubt. So it creates this weird sense of like, wait a minute, who am I talking to? Why do I feel like they're not really real? You know what I'm saying? I can't depend on it. I don't trust what they're saying. Even if it's just something that doesn't matter, like I want cookie dough versus I want ice cream. There's a sense in the energy of the word versus the self that doesn't feel matched up. Okay? All right. The last one that I'll talk about that you mentioned is if they haven't spent many lives on this planet. Okay? And differentiating how that energetically feels. And this is different also. So this subtlety within the energetic field oftentimes manifests as purity, but there's a sense of distance, like they're out of body, or the human form is not comfortable. It's for them. It may feel compressed, it may feel too tight, too small, too limited. So oftentimes these people's energies feel very out of body, very detached. And even in their interactions with you, they may be talking. It's almost like you just feel like they're not fully even present with what they're saying. There's a sense of detached energy. And it's, if you're, again, attuned and very good at tuning into their energetic expression when they're connecting with you, it will almost feel like their energy is way out here. And this is their comfortable space. And they may come in and speak through the body, speak through the form, connect through the form, but there's still a sense of distance. Okay, now this does not mean that they're a young soul. They may be a very old soul that's just new to this planet. You get what I'm saying? So they may be very wise, they may be very patient, have a lot of sense of ancient energy, but just the human aspects, the earthly aspects, the material world is very foreign, uncomfortable, and it almost feels painful to come into the body and engage on this level. So there's a lot of distance energetically felt. So it's not so much chaotic and scrambled. When I see that across the board, it's a little more detached. It's a little more inaccessible. Or you have to go through the form and out, or it's easier to connect with them energy to energy than it is human to human. Okay? And that would be how I would describe our language, what that looks like when someone hasn't had many human earthly experiences. Okay, so I hit all three of those. I hope that just gave you a sense of understanding. I do feel like your reading is right on energetically. I wouldn't doubt that sense of scrambledness. There's so many, like I said, manifestations of energy. It's infinite. So it's just learning why those things and asking what they're experiencing, diving in a little deeper with your questioning, with your intuition, and kind of moving through, not stopping with just like, it feels scrambled, something's wrong, why am I reading them wrong? You're not reading them wrong, it may just be scrambled, okay? And there's a lot of differentiations within that as well. So I think you're right on. I just encourage you to keep at it. Many blessings. Hope that was helpful to you guys. We'll be back here next week for another video.